we use the word integrity, and when you're talking about leadership, there's the natural integrity that you want with your leader being honest, having character. But the word that I love the most about integrity is more structural. When you've flown an airplane, you want something that has structural integrity. And that means that it is consistently strong across its whole body. And that's where I think that I've seen a theme that if I want a leader, the best leaders I've seen are the ones that have structural integrity, that they are consistently have strength of character, have honesty, they do what they say and say what they do. Not only when they're in front of a crowd of 1,000, but when they're in front of you one-to-one, or if they're in a meeting, or if they're with their family, or if they're at play, or that I think what people want is that there is a consistency and authenticity to where they are, wherever, and I think that when we look at something like in Washington, you could see some people where it's when the camera's on, they're one way. If they're one-on-one, they're another way. If it's and then it's also about if they're studying something, if they're angry, if there's an opportunity, if they're excited, you just want them to be who they are, and not have any surprises. And I think that that's how I've tried to live my life, because I've known people who have been very good at having that type of kind of integrity throughout their life, and some people who are not. And what's funny is even those who are not can be great leaders, but we've all accepted their inconsistencies, that they can be very charismatic in front of a crowd, but don't let them manage anything. They can have the great idea, but they may only be able to take that idea from stage 1 to stage 2. You need a team behind them for stage 3 and stage 4. As long as we understand that, I think that there's a role for leadership and different types of leaders. Not everybody has that kind of consistency, and sometimes that consistency, you need people with pop up on certain strengths. So that might not be, the best form of leadership for certain situations. Wonderful. I think the whole mentor experience is more about an individual's attitude about guidance, and that you're willing to you're open to be guided and to be mentored. And it's a dance sometimes. I know some people who say, I sought somebody out to be a mentor, and I don't know if I've ever sought anybody out. It just kind of happened. One of my favorite movies is Chariots of Fire, and I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's a movie about Olympics in the 1920s after the First World War, and some Brits who went there, and they had a lot of success. One particular, and it was all about motivation and why they ran. And one gentleman was Jewish, and he ran pretty much because he was Jewish, and he had a lot of issues around that kind of being discriminated against and all that, and ran out of anger. And there was another coach who was not of the British elite, and so they kind of bonded, but he asked him to be his coach, and he says, the player never asks the coach asks the player. I'll watch you, and we'll see if it happens. And I think that happens more than somebody saying, I want you to be my mentor. So the mentors are chosen by the mentees are chosen by the mentors, more often than not. more often than not. Some are very special. There was a gentleman at the California Community Foundation, and this is a strange, it's a funny story. So I'm a program officer, very, very junior in the organization. He was an early riser, I was an early riser. I walked into his office one day and I said, I have no idea how you raise money. I'm giving away all these grants. I have no understanding of how you raise money. And he says, that's funny, you're the first program officer who's ever asked me that question. And he was kind of a impulsive, mercurial individual. He saw a brochure for a seminar. He said, here, go to this seminar, tell me what you think. So I went to the seminar, and it was on planned giving. It was on a particular way of raising funds. And the people who were there were very confused that this program officer was going to a fundraising seminar. And I didn't know that he was in the process of transitioning the current head of development out. And he said to me, he invited me over to his house for lunch once, and he said to me, it's time to make a change, I need to bring you over, you're going to stop being a program officer, you're going to be the person who's going to head up development for us. And titles mean something in this world, so you're going to be vice president for development. And I was 30 at that time, had no background in that type of development. And a lot of people are lawyers or financial planners who go into this. And he said, and I said, what do I do? He goes, here's the list of all the top advisors we work with. Here's a list of all the donors we work with. I want you to go to lunch with them and just be yourself. I said, that's it? I said, yeah. We'll send you seminars here and there, but I think that's all you need to do for right now. And that was it. And he kind of changed my life. But just by that act, he saw something in me, and that's another key to mentors. It's not only passive advice. The best mentors are actually helping you do things, and that's a negotiation within the relationship. Does the mentor have the opportunity to open a door, introduce another person? And that's key. Not just be a sage. No. I mean, you always second guess yourself. I mean, it's easy to second guess yourself, but whether it be, there's so many movies out there, whether it be It's a Wonderful Life or those time code kind of movies where all it took was one difference that would have meant I'm not in front of you guys right now. Would have meant that I'm not married to the wife that I have now, that I don't have the kids that I have now, that I don't have the job that I have now. It's every moment, whether it be incidental, accidental, intentional, has somehow led you to this moment. So that's why I say no. Now, did I have that girlfriend I wish I didn't? We all have that. Or that job where it just didn't feel that right, or that client where at the very beginning I'm not sure if it was a fit, and it wasn't. Sure, but didn't we learn something from that? Didn't it build on itself? So at the end of the day, the big opportunities that were taken or that were passed, no,